should be live as of right now.
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hey, good morning. Rebecca here. I am calling to let you know that in this open enrollment, if you have Medicare Part A and B, you are eligible for various newly added benefits like food card, flex card, prescription coverage, cashback of up to $250.
So, for those of you who are just tuning in, we are talking about politics today. Doesn't matter about what topic at all. I am more than willing to listen to debate um, and hearing your guys' opinion on what Trump's doing in office and what you guys think about that. Or if you guys have a feeling about what he's doing or how this cabinet might be changing or anything like that. Um, More than willing to listen and hear what you guys have to say because my opinion, like I said, is more than willing to change. I have no political biases. I'm not a Republican, not a liberal, not anything. I'm no Democrat, socialist, none of the above. I'm just me and my opinion. My opinion does not matter in the grand scheme of everything. I am just a person who is talking about politics, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say about things I could be because I also love the debate as well. No Democrat, socialist, none of. So like I said, I'm going to be taking calls and stuff like that for anybody who wants to listen in or share their opinions or not listen in. You're calling in, but but I'd be more than willing to listen to opinion and hear what you guys have to say about certain things. Um, of course, if you bring cold hard evidence, I can't dispute that evidence. Just do be aware that there may be a thing that negates that evidence, which is okay. That's what debating is. Um, so yeah, we'll just be kind of sitting there talking about new policies that Trump's been bringing in, um, talking about why they may be relevant, why they may be old views, bringing up new ideas that could maybe possibly solve some crises or, you know, whatever floats your boat, man. Honestly, but one thing I will not stand for on this community is people taking it not seriously. Um, if you don't have a serious question about what we're doing, the call will end. Um, Plain and simple. The um, I also won't stand for any hate towards any group of people. I do not care if it is racial hate, homophobic hate, um, political hate, any sort of hate at all does not belong here. We are just talking about political stuff, and if it gets heated, again, the conversation will be ended. I will not go into a heated argument with somebody because at that point, no opinion will change, and it's just about stubbornness of opinion. So, getting to my first topic as of right now, and it's just a small one. Trump is removing the paper straw um, movement, and they are bringing up that plastic straws should be brought back because there's a lot more things in the ocean that is causing more damage other than straws. Um, and the business of paper straws is bullshit, I would say, because a lot of people decide to go into paper straw manufacturing and to get the paper rolled, pressed, and then coated in a certain wax that does break down over time, um, prevents that straw's usage, and then we just have another useless piece of paper that people are going to be throwing out. So you're filling a trash bag anyway. So he's just going back to making it about going back to plastic straws, and that's just one of the smaller things. It's not a huge thing. One thing that I'm going to bring up is the new tariffs. Sorry about that. Um, I will be bringing up, as of right now, the new tariffs on small business owners dealing with tight margins. And I want to bring up how. Sorry, I'm trying to battle 92 different web screens right now. Give me 2 seconds. I do apologize. So anyway, I want to talk about the new tariffs that have been rustling up some small business owners already dealing with some very tight money. So on Monday, Trump announced a 25% tariffs on steels and aluminums, and their promise to import more um, with more duties to come. And last week, the administration imposed a 10% tariff on Chinese good coming into the U.S. Now, like I said, I'm no politician. I don't fully understand how the world works. I am not somebody that would just bring up a opinion that I don't particularly know about, but I can understand what cutting money from smaller businesses would do and creating more of a tax on goods being brought into the country. Um, um, now I do believe that we should bring a higher tax on imported goods because I feel like we have a country and we should be able to self sustain and not rely on other countries for our things. We do need steel, we do need metal, we do need all of these things, but we need a limit. We need to have some sort of say in, like, hey, this is enough infrastructure. Let's use what we have for right now. We need to start building on what we have, not what we can gain and build up from. We need to stop spending money on infrastructure of building new buildings or, creating new energy alternatives or anything like that. There's simple ways to stop these energy crises and this materialistic crisis. It's very easy, and it's called self-sustaining. You don't need a whole bunch of metals for your own farm. You don't need a whole bunch of, uh, let's say, like chemicals or anything like that. Chemicals help, metal does help, but it's not needed. You can have your own garden made out of wood that you find with trees in your yard. You can go out to the store and buy seeds for $5, maybe even less depending on the seeds you're buying, and grow your own crops and then use the seeds from those crops to continue to make your own crops. Now, not every yield is good. I know that every time there is things called droughts and stuff like that, but people throughout the years, and I mean the last few centuries, have gone from surviving a drought and having food stockpiled enough to where they can get through a drought and rebuild that stuff and hold on to seeds so that way when water does come, we'll be fine. And we live in America. Water is not that hard to go find. We need to walk to any other coast along the fucking border, pull water out of the ocean, take the salt out of the water, and we can use that. You can boil the salt out of water and collect the steam and create distilled water. That is a thing you can do. Now, it's all easier said than done. I realize that. I'm no scientist or major politician that can just, it's not who I am. I'm not somebody that can bring about full change or anything like that. And I'd be more than willing to listen to anybody who says that they can, that those things are no longer readily available. But the earth still provides. Water is an ever expanding thing. It never goes away. We have plenty of it. We have plenty of wood. As long as you're planting trees, we can do it. It's not that hard. Now, small businesses, yes, people are working hard. They don't deserve to have these things taken from them or have the availability of something be cost more to them. That's unfair. But at the same time, I do slightly agree with this because it will bring about our own self-sustaining company. Or not company, but country. This does bring the problem of not having the availability of this metal, but it does bring about the solution to relying on other countries for things like metals or plastics or biodegradable fuel, or not biodegradable fuel, but fossil fuels and stuff like that. Switching from fossil fuels to something like, there's a kid on TikTok who has figured out how to turn plastic into actual fuel, and it does burn at a way better weight than gasoline. Now, I don't know how true that is because mass media has made it to where you can't really believe anything because half of what people say are lies. And I'm sure there's been some people that have tuned in and they're like, oh, well, this dude's talking crazy. I can't blame you. I really can't. That's your opinion. But if you're willing to hear me out, I'd be more than willing to listen. So, for those of you who do care about what your country's doing and what's happening, please share your opinion. Please tell me that I'm wrong. I am more than willing to listen. Um, there was a, but I'm going to move on from that because that's just a small little opinion, and I'm still learning more about that subject. Um, if you guys have sources and stuff like that, I'd be more than willing to listen. Um, more in Trump news. He has the he has oh my gosh. What to talk about? Now, so here's the other thing I'm I'm gonna bring up with that tariffs. Now, this will affect aerospace workers. It will affect steel workers, welders, um, car manufacturers, everything like that. It will. People will lose jobs. That's fair. I I I I am all for people keeping their jobs, having a decent pay, and being able to live off of what you can earn. But we have to make some radical changes. So anyway, as I was saying, now I do know that this will affect all of those people. It will, and I do feel for the people that will lose their jobs. I also do believe that we need a radical change in the way this country is being ran. It should not be about money. Nothing should be about money, especially people's wages. You should not be worrying about when your next paycheck is coming due to something that's happening overseas. Not something you should be worried about. Now, sadly, that's not the way the world's being ran. It is being ran by a whole bunch of people who believe that money is our whole source of everything. Our money problems start with the fucking billionaires. All these people who live in this country, who have built these companies from the ground up, I'll give them that. They deserve that credit, but they should not have access to the amount of money that they do. It makes them way more powerful than they need to. And Trump is one of those people. He should not be allowed to have all of this money that he has made. At some point, we have to say when is when. Because if one person has all the money in the world, what are they going to do with it? Nothing. It's going to sit there. And they're going to be rich because it's just going to sit in the bank account. Now, we could use that money for actual wages. We could use that money for people actually getting free health care like every other country in the world that does free health care. And it's mostly main countries. Like, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, England has free health care. Canada has free health care. Norway has free health care. Those are just one of the 3 big countries. Russia can go out and get food for a week for their families for $150. I can't even afford me and my girlfriend's apartment, barely. Besides, and that, well, let me rephrase. And that doesn't include being able to feed ourselves. That doesn't include being able to go out on the weekends and having a beer. It doesn't include me being able to enjoy life. I have to worry about where my next paycheck is coming from. I do have to worry about how much I'm making compared to what I'm spending. And I do have to worry about everything with a financial backing. And that's not any way should live their lives. Now, I remember as a kid, even my parents, they were struggling. But there was a point where they were able to get decent jobs and an education. Nowadays, getting an education is a lot harder than just going to college. Because now we have $60,000 to $75,000 in debt. That's not okay. I'm sorry. But for you to give me information, I should not have to pay you $75,000 for it. I should not get paid for training on how to live my life. So, let's make education way less cheaper. Because why not? It's free information. Last time I checked, the library had that. So, everything that a college can teach you, you can learn yourself within a book. And yet, people still go to college and give them $75,000 a year. Or for 4 years for tuition. But we don't have free healthcare. I wonder why. The healthcare is a huge growing business. And it is a business. We get charged out the ass just for us being sick or having a broken bone or 92 different other things. And where does all of that stem from? The rich keep on getting richer and the poor keep staying poor. And the poor being 9 to 5 everyday Americans, not being able to go and buy a grocery cart full of groceries to sustain yourself. We now live in a world where we pretty much live day to day by buying meals because that's what's affordable. You can go out, you can buy yourself a meal for that day, and it's still going to cost you about 30, 40 bucks. And that's just in Northern America. Now, I lived in Texas for a little bit, and living in Texas, it's kind of the same spot. It's very hard just to get by. Now, when I was in the Navy, food was given to me for free, housing was given to me for free, and I still was able to barely pay my truck payment and its insurance. And even then, I will own right now, had to ask people for money to get by. Then, once I realized it wasn't getting any better, some things in my life went down. But I'm sure if I had a decent wage with decent health care, I could have been able to save all of that from happening. I would have been able to sustain my life. I would have been able to be an actual happy American again. But nowadays, I see people, everyday people, changing their opinions about somebody who's actually doing something in office, changing their opinions that I heard a few years ago about Biden, where they didn't like Biden, and now they don't like Trump. What do you want? Do you want somebody that's going to not care about your feelings and actually change some stuff about the world, or do you want somebody who listens to everybody and has everybody in their ear and bases their opinion off of everybody else's opinion? I hate to break it to you, I'd rather have the guy in office right now. He's making changes, he's cutting stuff that we don't need, and he's making the richer spend more money. Now, if the richer need to spend more money and try and take it from the people, I'm sure they're going to. And that's why we're going to see wages getting cut, is by the richer getting richer. We're going to see people getting laid off, and it's going to be bad. I'm telling you that right now. There's no way around change besides people getting screwed, but you got to get screwed to get better in this country. And that's the saddest thing I've ever heard or said, but that is the truth. Now, I've been having viewers pop up and in and immediately leave because I'm sure you guys don't want to hear these opinions, which is fair. But I'm open to listening to them, and I'm not willing to have my opinion changed. I'm more than willing to listen to what you have to say, but you can't tell me that change doesn't come without sacrifice. There was a great quote, and it came out in a pop culture movie. No sacrifice, no victory. People are going to lose their jobs. People are not going to be able to survive for another while. But I bet you in another 4 years, when Trump's out of office, things are going to start going down again. Because 4 years after Trump left office the last time, things started going down. Now that it's been 2 months since Biden has left office, and somehow taxes are going up. That's not Trump. That's Bidenomics for you. It usually takes about maybe 2 to 3 years before something actually changes. It takes about 2 to 3 years for an actual policy to actually start taking place and causing change. And that's the truth of it. You cannot expect to have a change happen in 2 months. You cannot expect Trump to be the all-knowing eye of the Americas and not fuck something up or bring about some sort of change that nobody has a problem with. That's just not true. You just can't. These new tariffs are going to screw over a lot of companies. Maybe you shouldn't be a part of that company, or B, try and fight for it, because your opinion matters. You are the people, and that's what I'm here for. That's what I want to bring back. Is I want to bring politics back to the people and bring discussion back to the people. What's been happening with the last few years is everyone's been shrugging their shoulders and not sharing their opinions, but really, we have all of the opinions. The movie Ants said it best. When one ant steps up and the rest of them do, actually, I take that back, that's not the quote. I believe the quote is, when one ant stands up, more will stand up behind it. And the more ants that stand up, the bigger stay in power. And that is the biggest truth of it all. Now, you can't have a whole bunch of people without difference of opinion. And you can't have a huge stream without somebody causing some sort of hate or opinion or whatever. And that's okay. But I'm more than willing to listen. More than willing to have my opinions changed with real evidence. I'm more than willing to hear whatever you guys have to say about what Trump's doing in office or how he may affect you. I would love to hear what he's doing may affect you. But I want to hear specifically how it's going to affect you. I want to know when it's going to affect you, when you think it's going to affect you, how, in what way is it going to not help you or help you. No opinion is ever wrong. No opinion is ever right. But there has to be a healthy debate at some point, and I'm more than willing to listen to it. So, I'm going to get into some more stuff that I think Trump is doing right. So, Trump is talking about disbanding the Board of Education. I'm all for it. I think education should be state ran. I think it should not have politics in it. We need to bring back the national anthem back to the schools, and we need to take all the pride stuff out. No kid should ever be worrying about their sexuality unless they are battling it with themselves. No kid should ever wonder if they want to be a girl or a boy or whatever while they're still learning how to just be a normal citizen. That's irrelevant. You can make those decisions after you're 18 years of age and your opinions are heard. And you have the money to make those things. The government should not provide you with money so you guys can get married because they don't do it to regular people. They should not provide you with money for surgeries because they don't provide us with money for regular surgeries. So, I say again, money, education, feelings, and I'm sorry, there was something else that I. Oh, yeah. So, money, education, feelings does not, and medicine does not belong in politics at all. It just doesn't. None of those things have anything to do with running a country. The only time we should be worrying about money is a national debt, and we can pay that off tomorrow. We could. All President Trump has to do is come forward and be like, if you make a certain amount of money, aka above about $5 million, contribute to the national debt. Since you have obviously contributed to the company or the country with your company, you have contributed to the national growth and economy, so why not contribute the other money instead of letting it sit in your bank account and do nothing? Why not help build smaller businesses after your company has grown within your country? Why not help get people better? Because, well, first of all, if your employees are not showing up to work, that's going to cost you money. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is people just want to be fucking weirdos on the internet as well. I think TikTok should stay banned. TikTok is terrible. It's a mass populace of people believing that their opinion should be masqueraded and absolutely accepted, and that's not true. It's not true at all. You don't have to be accepted. Nobody owes you that. Nobody owes you a pat on the back for anything. Nobody. Nobody owes you anything. Now, do I think that people should hang out with people that enjoy the things that they enjoy too? Sure. I do believe that. But it shouldn't be on a platform where there's little kids watching. There shouldn't be massive parades going through the city with half naked people. There shouldn't be huge flags in schools where people are throwing their political agenda or their sexual feeling of, hey, I like to sleep with this certain type of people. That shouldn't be a thing. Ever. You shouldn't be presenting those things out into the public because those things happen behind closed doors anyway. So, for the same reason why you felt the fear to hide something is the same reason why you shouldn't educate people who don't have a proper developed brain into following those opinions. You shouldn't. You let them find their own opinions. And that's exactly what Trump's doing. He's with this disbandment of the Board of Education, what they're going to do is they're going to bring back God-fearing citizens into the schools and allow the national anthem to be spoken again, because for one, it was stupid to take it out of it. And anybody believes otherwise, I don't see why you wouldn't want to be proud of where you come from or say that you believe in something that is for the betterment of other people. We should not have the government telling us what we should and should not eat within those schools. We should not have the government telling us what we should and should not believe in inside the schools. You do not have to sing the God-fearing part in the national anthem or the oh my gosh, I'm sorry, the Pledge of Allegiance. You shouldn't have to. That's your opinion. You don't have to. But for everybody else that does believe in it, and for the people that do believe that their country is going to be better, should be able to express that. And I do believe starting that in school, being proud of where you come from, even though our history may be shady, should still be a thing. I think having pride about your country and where you're from should always be a thing. Because if you aren't proud of where you come from, then what can you be proud of? How can you be proud of living in a country that supports feelings over taking care of actual hard things in life? Like money problems, or food shortages, or medical problems, like not being able to pay for your cancer treatment, or not being able to go buy. Just the other day, I went to go buy a bottle of melatonin, and it was like $15. That's insane. $15 for a natural supplement is crazy. What you're paying for is the industry tax, the medical tax, and I'm sure shipping and handling. Because you can't not pay for that stuff. Somebody's got to pay for it to move. But we shouldn't have to pay just because it's a certain type of medicine. We shouldn't have to pay for anything that's medical related. We shouldn't. It's a natural supplement. You should pay for what the supplement costs and how much it took to get there. That's it. I shouldn't have a 6% tax that causes me to pay an extra $2 on top of an already $15 thing. Because a $15 item at Walmart is really a $17 item. So, why not list it at 17? Or list it at the proper price it should be. Again, all of these things can be traced back to one thing, and that is holding power within yourself to have an opinion against your government, to have an opinion against the people who want to keep on having feelings validated, or having surgeries to validate feelings and having the government pay for them, or having things taken out of schools and replaced with different types of flags other than the flag you should be proud of. There shouldn't be anybody in government telling you what you should feel. You should be able to marry who you want to marry. You should be able to love who you want to love. And you should be able to do those things free of opinion. It's not going to happen. But in the government, it can happen. Within the government, we can create a law that separates feeling from jobs, separates money from politicians, that separates money from rich assholes. Should be a thing. Now, I want to bring up what I think is going to be happening in the schools from here on out. I think what's going to be happening is we are going to see less governmental rule. We won't have so many governmental policies on mental health or different things like that within a school. Teachers will be able to defend their students against school shooters because we won't have the government telling them they can't have firearms. We won't have people telling different people that you can't have a certain flag on your chest or wording on your chest. I don't think you should have the word fuck on your t-shirt walking to school, but I do think you should be like, I stand by this opinion, and have that be on your school. Now, there's a time and place to talk about those things on your shirt. That should be recognized. The classroom is no place for politics or anything like that. But who am I to tell you what you can and cannot wear? The government does seem to think they can. The government does seem to think that they can run everything and tell you what you can and cannot wear, and tell you what's can be and cannot be monetized within a school. It's not true. They can't. You can bring whatever you want to bring into school. You can wear whatever you want to wear at school, because that is your basic human right. Who are they to tell you not to? And I say you do it. If you're someone that's still in school, wear what you want to wear. Bring what you want to bring, as long as it's not going to bring bodily harm to other people or bring mental harm to other people as well. Because that's another thing that's wrong with the country too. Is everyone's always out for stomping on other people's opinions and stopping people from feeling what they're supposed to be feeling. I'm all for feeling what you want to feel. I'm all for people chasing what they love. And you can do it inside of school. That's where it all starts. That's where you start to learn what you love, what you hate. And if you don't feel like you're great at math, but you're great at science, you should be able to say, I don't feel like being in this math class right now. It's a waste of my time. I don't like it. I'm not going to ever like it. Let me follow a career that I'm going to like. And I feel like if it's state ran, that may be possible. We already have STEM programs. Why not adapt that into a younger generation other than high schoolers? Bring that into middle school. Bring that into a grade school when they're still learning about, when they're actually starting to learn about mathematical equations or scientific studies or political study or history study or anything. You can bring these subjects in a safe manner that allows kids to learn in a safe place and learn what they want to learn. And I do think without the government having a hand in that, we have an actual chance at that. We can actually have a country that gives a shit about their kids and what they're learning. You can have God back in the schools. You can have, if you don't want God back in the schools, you can have whatever you believe in the school. If there is a person from India who wants to do their praying, they should be able to pray. Get their own room to pray so they can do it in the peace without other people's opinions or having people walking by and making fun of them. Or, if we have people from Europe who have a different type of prayer or need to pray at a certain time, or, there's certain things that we should allow and should not allow. Teachers should not have a rainbow lanyard or a gay pride flag or anything in the school. That's a huge unpopular opinion. I'm more than willing to accept that from other people. I do believe you should have an American flag in your classroom. I do believe that you should have an American flag lanyard. I do believe that you should believe in the future of the country and not the past of the country. We should teach history as a lesson, not as a thing to do. And so far, we are starting to break the generational curses, and the old people are getting pissed. The newer generation is getting pissed. Nothing's getting done except for we're taking steps forward. Little tiny steps. But here is the main problem. Old people, I'm saying anybody born before 1980, have this mindset that they are the all-knowing people of the world, that they have every opinion correct, and that's not true. You guys are just as wrong as us, and that's the truth. None of your guys' opinion matters just as much as mine doesn't matter. I have more relevance in this world than any of those people do, because my generation is going to be taking up the mantle right after my sister's generation is done taking up the mantle. And I am assuming, just like with my generation and the generation before and the generation before and the generation before, because that's how time works, that people will continue to take up this mantle. And what we need to do is start allowing younger generations to actually have a say. And I mean good say, not some random drawn out bullshit answers. No, let's listen to some actual real problem solving ideas. Let's bring about an actual self-sustaining country to where we don't need a whole bunch of steel or um, appliances or 92 different other things to help the country move up. Because we do have those things. We do. There's plenty of space in this country for people to move out of cities and take buildings down, reuse that metal for other things, and actually build life other places. Now, a lot of our problems in school as well are money issues. The school should have way more funding than any police force or any um like activist movements as well. If your entire job is about pushing a agenda onto other people, you shouldn't be funded besides yourself, because it's your opinion. The police uphold the law, but the problem is nowadays a lot of the police throw their opinion into their job. A lot of the problem with activists today is because they think their opinion is fully correct, and so they seek funding from companies or the government or other different agencies trying to get some sort of backing. You need backing, you need money, I get it. Go work for it. If you have an opinion, go work for your opinion and stand by your opinion. You should not be taking from other people to push an agenda onto more people, unless those people donate that money to you and agree with your opinion. That's what I do believe in. I do think you should be able to share your opinion. I do think that opinion should be heard and considered, just like I hope you would do with mine. But I also do think that some opinions need to be shut down. Some opinions should not be allowed to be out there. Walking around a school with a huge pride flag is an opinion, and a school is a place for hard facts and learning. That's it. Not opinion, not money, not politics. School boards, or the main education board, should not at all make any decision for any school, because the government has no place in education. Because that is also how they start to control the people as well. The more and more and more they have an opinion about what's happening in schools, the more and more they can create control for the people. And the more and more control they have for the people, the less and less people start to care about different things and start looking at other things. Like, the government has created a scenario in which people are completely divided in today's age. People have been arguing for years and years and years about rights and movements and stuff like that. And a lot of these rights and movement activists have been taking that money and just running with it. So all of that funding went nowhere anyway. So why not bring that funding to something that matters? It's true. Bringing funding to real life things that we need not that we want, is a problem in today's age, because today's age is nothing but wants. And I am one of those people who I struggle with gluttony, trying not to get the things that I want and get the things that I need. That's just basic human instinct. But right now, basic human instinct is fucking this country. Completely. It is. Human instinct should not be to, ooh, let's go get money. That's not should be basic human instinct. Basic human instinct should be, what can I do to help out? What can I do to watch this person grow with me? Not, man, I'm sick of this person because they bring nothing to my life and I'm trying to make money and move up. You should not want to climb the corporate ladder. You should not try to do any of that stuff. You should be able to work happily in the position you are and sustain your life and find other things that do bring you happiness. But that's not a thing anymore. Now you have to hate your job and work 2 other jobs just to get by, because the only jobs available are the jobs nobody likes. Now, people have to work those jobs, yes, I agree. But those people should also get paid more. The people who work jobs that aren't giving very glamorous vibes, or having the most best smelling clothes after you're done, or like having decent I'm sorry, I have to take a second to reword that. People are focusing on the glamorous jobs instead of watching what it's like to be working a hard job. People sit there and want the best for themselves instead of doing the thing that's going to get them to the place that they want to be. And in the town that I'm from, nobody here has made it off of pure work except for a good handful of people. Not saying nobody, I take that word back, but there are good people in my town. I know a good few of them that work hard, go to work every day, and they deserve a way better pay because what they're doing actually provides to the community. I know people who work in healthcare who are busting their asses every single day and don't get paid a dime worth of their time. I know a bunch of people that work at the sewer plant and they don't get paid nothing, but we have to get rid of the waste. I know a whole bunch of people in the military who don't get paid for anything that they do except for a low base salary, but somehow we have a whole bunch of money for new advances in technology within the military. So the people that have built these technologies and stuff like that aren't getting paid for what they've built. They're not getting the recognition that they deserve. Nobody is receiving anything except for the rich. The rich receive all the money. The rich receive all of the glory for their company. 90% of companies today are built off of other people's ideas. 90%. That is crazy. You cannot tell me all of Elon Musk's ideas were his alone without any other opinion. He is a humble person, and that is not a shout. That's not a shot at him. He is more than willing to accept opinion and change his opinion. There was a YouTuber who was doing an interview with him, and they were asking him about his rockets, and he was talking about the boosters having a cold fusion or a cold cooling system within the booster. And the YouTuber had pointed out that it's only for the booster and not the actual shuttle itself. And he did make the change, and it worked a lot better. So we do know that they do take these ideas right then and there, but I'm sure that YouTuber did not get the credit he deserved. He did not receive the pay that he could have received from that if he had actually written something up and brought that idea and actually were paid for that idea. Now, my political opinions, they don't matter. None of them do. But I'm more than willing to have my opinions changed and have better information. Not just have my opinion be my own opinion, or not, and I'm willing to believe that not any of my opinions are correct. I'm more than willing to believe that. But I want to see or hear sources and evidence that my opinion is wrong. I do want to see the people actually trying to do some research on what they give a shit about. And what they should be giving a shit about is their country. And nobody does. Everyone cares just about their opinions and what their feelings are like and what they're doing for themselves, what makes them happy. And quite frankly, it's all selfish to me. I know what it's like to take an oath and fail that oath just because I felt what I was doing was right. It's unfair. Um, but this is going to be, I'm going to wrap this up. This is going to be my first one. I'm sure it's probably not that great, and which is okay. I, I'm sure I'll get better at it, but please come and interact and bring real opinion in. I'm more than willing to listen. I'm more than willing to debate and talk about these things because that's what's going to bring about change. That's what's going to bring people together to actually fight what's been going on with our country, actually know what's going on within our country that without unbiased opinion, without any socialist government or Republican government or liberal and democratic and 92 different other fucking opinions. Like, let's just start speaking some facts. And that's what I want to do here on the Red Alert podcast is talk some facts. I'm going to be doing more research and I'm going to be going live more. We're going to be going more into depth with these new tariffs as they come out more with more information. I'm going to be talking more about what Trump's going to be doing with the education and what he's going to be doing socially. Um, in the next episode, we're going to be talking about what he's doing with the LGBTQ plus community and the Black History Month and Gay Pride Month, him getting rid of those, and what those are possibly going to do to the country and to other people's opinions. Um, so, this has been the Red Alert Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it, and have a great day.